Good morning. My name is Quandra Gaines, and I am the host for Community Connections, Resources, and Gardening. Today, I am going to be talking to you about various community resources that are out here to assist you if you're in any financial difficulty, such as energy assistance, um, eviction prevention, or um, job or employment opportunities. So I'm going to start off with some community resources that could assist you, especially with this time of year when utility bills go higher. One is Civic Works energy programs, where you can actually come in, you can actually get an energy audit, quick home energy check, quick install, which we call Project Lightbulb, community solar, or rooftop solar. And the telephone number is 410 929 6184. There's another fun opportunity called the Homeowners Financial Assistance Fund. It is a state program, but there are city programs under it. And the best number to call them would be 833 676 0119. And you can call them Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The next resource that I would like to talk to you about was energy assistance. Energy assistance helps families and individuals who are having problems with their utility bills, but they also have a component for water bills as well. You can give them a call. It depends on jurisdiction. So the main number for the city would be 410 396 5555. They also have under the Whole Home program, which is a state program, which also has the Homeowners Financial Assistance Fund program under it. You can also apply for assistance with your mortgages, if you have back mortgages, if you have back property taxes, and if you also have water bills, which seems to be going higher and higher. In celebration of this weekend being both Father's Day and Juneteenth, I wanted to share some great books that was actually recommended by a coworker of mine, and wanted to provide you with that. And then I also wanted to talk to you about various opportunities for children to take advantage of during the summer break. The first book is Parable of the Sower, and that is by Octavia Butler. A very great book, and I challenge each and every one of you to read it. Another one is Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, and that is by Joy Dengroy. Another great book that I'm about to read is called Stamped, and that is by Jason Reynolds and Ibram Kendi. Another book that I would really recommend is Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria? I think that is a great read for the whole entire family, especially during all these different things that are happening to people of the global majority. That book is written by Dr. Beverly Daniel Tatum. And the last book that I plan to read is Year of Yes, and that is written by Shonda Rhimes. So, in celebration of Juneteenth, I wanted to give you some activities that are actually happening today, tomorrow, and Sunday, and on. One is there's going to be a Juneteenth cookout at the Baltimore City College tomorrow at 6 p.m. And of course, we have AFRAM. That is actually going to be happening today, tomorrow, and Monday. Excuse me, sorry. Today and tomorrow at the 900 Drew Park Lake Drive. I hope that you support this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful event that I am planning to go to myself today because I'm going to see Neo. Um, Another great activity that I would advise families to go to is the National Greats Blacks in Wax Museum. I actually had the opportunity to go there, and it is phenomenal. Um, you can actually give them a call at 410 563 3404. It is the most phenomenal tour that you would ever want to go to. It took me, it was very emotional for me because there was a lot of different things I did not know. So I challenge each and every one to go there. Another great museum is the original F. Lewis Museum of Maryland, African American History and Culture. You can give them a call also at 410 263 1800. That also is a phenomenal museum. I tried to do it in one day and I was not successful. Another great museum to get to would be the Harriet Tubman Underground Railroad Visitor Center. I was able to go there last year on a trip, and it was phenomenal. It was very emotional, but it was very phenomenal. I was able to take my uh, co-captain Dallas with me, and we learned of a lot of history. It was wonderful to hear about a very strong woman who represented the people of the global majority, and it was amazing. It was phenomenal. Now, I did want to go over some things because this is also the year where most consumers are getting phone calls about scams. One in particular is Baltimore Gas and Electric. Most people are getting calls where they're saying that they're going to be turning your services off in 10, 15 minutes. And they're asking you for money. They're asking you for your personal information. And they're asking you to go buy a green card, a money card, or some kind of card, which actually is not one of the practices of the utility company. Um, they have a process that where you would get a turnoff notice, you would have time to um, obtain resources, um, and you would have opportunities within that organization to help you along the way. So if you do get a call from a scammer and they're asking you about money, if they're asking you about your personal information, if they're actually dangling money towards you, my advice to you would be to get as much information as you possibly can and then call Baltimore Gas and Electric and provide them with that information so that they can do investigation. This is particularly good for senior citizens because they seem to be the population that a lot of scammers go after. So my advice to you is if it doesn't sound, if it, like they say, if it quacks like a duck, it probably is. So if they're asking you too much information when you know that most utility companies are not going to do that, I would advise you to either get the information or hang up immediately. So out of all of the activities for Juneteenth and Father's Day, I have some recommendations that I would like to provide you with. And it could series of restaurants that you can actually go to celebrate Dad on his special day, or if you would like to just enjoy the wonderful vibes of Juneteenth, celebrating it, whether it's through gardening, through a special event with your family. So these are some of my suggestions. So the first one is Great Grands, and it's in Woodlawn. It is a Black-owned company that serves really great cuisine, and they're located at 1724 Woodlawn Drive. Their telephone number is 410-277-3336. The next one is the Taste This in Charles Village. And they're located at 102 East 25th Street. And their telephone number is 410-563-2845. And of course, the Terra Cafe, which has amazing food. You could give them a call as well. I did want to go into greater detail about resources today, more so than gardening, because I'm not sure, but we're about to go into a recession if we're not already in one. And I want to make sure that people are aware of the different resources that are available in Baltimore, Maryland, that they can take advantage of. Energy assistance is one that I hold dear because it helps you with your utility bills. And there are 4 different pots of money that you could take advantage of. The most important thing would be to make sure that you have all of your identifications for both you and your children or any members in your family, because it's income based and it's based on the number of people. Another great one would be the water bill. Water for All, or you can actually go through the actual homeowners assistance fund, that whole home application, and you can actually apply for it that way. Another thing I would do is if you have any seniors that live near you that you know could take advantage of this opportunity, I would advise you, or if you're not able to, you could always give them the telephone number of 410-396-5555, and they would be able to assist that client or senior through a critical medical navigator who can actually do their intake over the phone and get their paperwork in. The next opportunity would be to talk about the various different free museums that are out within our state, particularly Baltimore City. You have the Baltimore Museum of Art, you have the Walters Art Gallery, you have the National Blacks and Wax Museum, you have Reginald F. Lewis Museum of Maryland. But there are other different types of museums that are right around, like the Babe Ruth Museum. You have the Banneker, which is in Baltimore County, which is on Odella, where a lot of my family is from, where they have activities as well today that you can actually go to. Another thing would be the resources would consist of, like, let's say you have a high utility bill, or you need repairs done in your home. There are some resources that you could actually give. Civic Works, where I work as an energy advisor, you give us a call at 410-929-6184, and we could assist you with that information. Again, the telephone number for Civic Works Energy Programs is 410-929-6184. 6184, and we could assist you or steer you in the right direction about energy efficiency. We could assist you with an application for energy assistance, or we could also refer you over to some of the various agencies that could give you assistance as well. We do have housing upgrade to benefit seniors, which is for our population of seniors who are 65 and older, where they too can get assistance with some repairs and things of that nature. There are other opportunities that we do have at Civic Works Inc., and that would be training opportunities, employment opportunities. So we do have some various trainings at Civic Works, like utility infrastructure, solar. We're going to be kicking off something dealing with roofing very soon. We do have some solar programs that some people may not know if they can or cannot, but we do have a program called Community Solar where we partner with Neighborhood Sun. You could get information about that, where you could actually learn more about solar, but you could also be reaping the benefits of energy efficiency because you would not necessarily have to have the actual panels on your home. You could actually go through a solar farm and get the same amount of wattage that you would need for your home. The next one, is rooftop solar. Now that program is we offer a free solar consultation where you get to ask your questions about different things like how big of a size panel would I need. There are different opportunities, such as some people want to have shingles. Shingles are very expensive. So you would actually get to talk to a solar consultant who would be able to walk you through that process. And going through the organization that I work with, you would actually get a negotiated price that would be easier for that consumer to take advantage of. Another thing that we do have is that we do have quick installs. These are actual products that we use that you actually get immediate savings to your pocket, such as getting light bulbs, getting aerators for your faucets, getting your water pipes wrapped. You can actually get a smoke detector or a carbon monoxide detector installed if your actual detectors are not working. And you can get a shower head, whether it's handheld or energy efficient shower head. So does anyone have any questions? Okay. So again, like I said, you can actually give me a call at 410-929-6139, or you can call me on my extension, which is 410-929-6184. Okay, I do have a question. Okay, Miss Mary. So there are some resources. Have you utilized the emergency grant that is offered, that is made available through the Department of Social Services? Or you could give me a call and I could assist you with some different resources. And you said for seniors, you said you've been using eviction prevention through the mayor's program. Have you utilized this state program for eviction prevention? I could give you that telephone number if you need it. Another resource that has been really wearing people down is that water bill. There are some different types of resources out here that you can use, but I would advocate that you first go through the CAP Center and use the Water for All. Another program that you can use would be the Whole Home, and you could get that application by calling the telephone number of, hold on, 833-676-0119, and you can call them because that's for the Whole Home program. It is COVID related, so I would advise everyone to give me a call, give this number, please, representative, a call, and they will assist you. Okay, so the telephone number for eviction prevention eviction prevention for Baltimore City is 410-396-5555. But for the state program, I would advise you to go to the Department of Social Services, where you can actually apply for an emergency grant. Okay. The next question. Hold on. I will also, as a result of these questions, I will be creating what we call a toolkit. When I was doing case management on a more full-time basis, I created what we called a toolkit, which would provide a customer the how to navigate to the various systems such as BGE, Department of Social Services, eviction prevention. And I am also a certified navigator through the state who can help you through the process if you have a critical medical need and you need assistance with getting your application through. And like I said, you can always give me a call at 410-929-6184, and I can navigate you through that process. Another benefit that I would like to advise customers to use is that if you do have a physical, mental, or even an environmental health problem or situation, I would advise you to give Baltimore Gas and Electric a call at 1-800-685-0123 and let them know that you have a special needs. They will send out an application that your doctor will fill out and you will return it. That will give you some additional resources within that organization that you could utilize. The next resource that's really I would like to talk about is for people to take advantage of various resources such as the Quick Home Energy Check. Quick Home Energy Check can be done through Civic Works energy programs. It can be done through BG&E. However, it gives you an inside view of your home. So if you have, let's say you have out wiring such as knob and tube wiring, and you have certain things go in and out if you put on too much stuff, that could actually be a detriment to your home, because with the knob and tube wiring, if you put these high-end televisions, game systems on it, you could actually set your home on fire. So by having one of these quick home energy checks, energy audits, quick installs, this allows you to actually have a certified person come into your home, and then they can connect you with resources, or they can give you suggestions and various things that can assist you. Or, like I said, you could always give me a call or give us a call and we could get you scheduled. And we could connect you with certain services in the city, so known as the LIGHT program or the Home Preservation program or the WAP program. There are so many different opportunities for people to get the resources and services to help them fix up their homes. There are some loans out there that some people can actually take advantage of to get things done, but there are also some other grants. We do also have Healthy Homes that does a lot of different things as well that can actually help you get connected with getting your home repaired, being energy efficient. There are sometimes some things where you can actually uh, go through an energy audit. Let's say you went through an energy audit and you had a lot of different things that were going on into your home. One of the most, um, one of the most, one of the things that can get you um, deferred would be to have a cluttered home. So before you would actually go and do a energy audit, my advisement would be to do a quick install. This way, our installer would be able to kind of help you navigate and help us navigate as advisors to help you by getting you connected with different things, whether it's doing a clean out and donating through Purple Heart or Salvation Army or Goodwill. But if that auditor cannot get around your home, um, it 9 times out of 10 you're going to be deferred. However, if you are interested in getting these services are based off of income, and we do have federal guidelines, but that advisor would walk you through that process so that there's no stress. Some of our programs are free, um, but a lot of them are based off of income and the number of people in the home. Another resource that I have been really researching um, for me personally is how to save money when it's purchasing food. And one of my solutions that I've been doing is I've been growing my own food. I've been growing my own food. I've been growing my herbs. I've been growing my own vegetables such as collard greens, chard, beets, corn, string beans, different types of string beans, um, a lot of herbs like red basil, thyme, oregano, Greek oregano, Italian oregano, garden cress. Because if you go into stores and you buy, let's say you buy a pound, you're going to be paying much more than if you grew it. And you have better control when you grow your own food because you don't have to use the pesticides that they use. You can actually use organic um, materials. I use a lot of baking soda to keep slugs off of my plants because slugs come at night and I kind of keep a little coating on the ground. Um, but what I've noticed is that I've been able to save a lot of money on basil, on peppers, red peppers, yellow peppers, green peppers are quite expensive these days. I've actually started growing lettuce, and next week I will actually have a um, give you a tour of my garden. I couldn't do it today because I'm actually fertilizing a lot of stuff in the yard, but I've noticed like squash, zucchini, um, sweet potatoes. There, I've actually this year I've actually kicked off by growing a batch of sweet potatoes and different types of onions, garlic. Um, I'm actually growing some watermelon and pumpkin. So we're actually blooming now. A lot of budding is actually coming around, and I'm actually seeing a lot of the male stems from the pumpkins coming up. So I will actually be doing some hands-on. We'll actually be going out into the garden and we'll be weeding and cutting back and trimming and things that you look for under your leaves, such as caterpillars and worms. You may even see a gardener snake in my garden. Um, I did have a rat snake in my garden a couple weeks ago, but he went on about his way because we don't. I live in the outskirts of Baltimore City, so they eat field mice. So and any other rodent that they can get their hands on. But one of the things that I've learned in gardening, it has therapeutic and mental um, rewards. One of the things is by taking care of my own garden, I'm learning to take care of myself. I'm growing things that make me um, make me much more healthier. By growing my own garden, I've been able to experiment with different types of squashes, different types of eggplants, different types of greens. And from that, I've been able to play a huge role in um, pulling a lot of the carbon that is in our air more so into the ground. And my plants are able to use that and I'm hoping, make the world, my city, Baltimore City, a better place to live and breathe. So, so for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a couple things about eating. We're going to be harvesting and the importance of harvesting, um, the importance of different types of food, maybe even thinking about talking if you want to, if you're interested in doing community gardens or doing community lots and having different people in the community play a part in that. Um, no, I've heard about Blissful Meadows Urban Farm. Yes, I have. Great place. Um, I've also, my church, Amazing Grace Lutheran, has a garden. So it's a lot like we had, and it was Rose Street Garden. So you have a lot of different um, components and how you can do it. It doesn't take much. You can actually have a garden in just a pot, a regular big size pot. You can start small. I did in the beginning. I only grew herbs, and then I ventured out into doing eggplant because I love eggplant. Um, I did. I grew okra, and I had a really great uh, harvest. I mean, it was so much that I was giving it away. Um, I give with zucchini and squash, they grow a lot. But I do my own compost, um, and you can do compost with coffee grinds or potato skins. You can just get a little container, and I'll show you my compost next week, where you can just get a little bin and you can just start putting your peelings. I usually don't start bringing them outside. I usually put them in a bag, a freezer bag, and I let that permeate. I use banana skins rather than going out and buying fertilizer. I use soaked um, banana skins and I let them soak. And I just keep putting more banana skins in it. It's the best fertilizer, and it's using what you already have. It's saving you money. I'm not saying that gardening is not expensive. It can be, but considering the fact that if you grow it from seeds and you grow it inside of your home, you have better control. I do have a garden inside of my home in my lower bathroom where I do my seeding. I actually do my seeding. Um, Things that most people say won't come back, like sunflowers. I grew them last year and the year before, and they just come back up. My sage comes back every year when usually most people say they're annual plants. My thyme comes back every year, so I don't have to kind of you regroup, like regrow those kind of things. But like my collard greens come back every year because of the seeding. Did anyone have any questions about gardening? Or was there anyone interested in gardening? Okay. Um, so next week, we're going to actually start a garden for a patio because some people do not have the space. And then we will go proceed from there to having just one designated spot, and truly understanding what it is that can grow in Maryland in different times of the year, what plants need 5 to 6 hours of sun. Some plants may not necessarily need all of that sun, like lavender. Lavender doesn't need to have a lot of sun. It can actually be in a shaded area and bloom quite successfully. It's a slow grower and it doesn't like a lot of intense sun, unlike the sunflower, who thrives off of sun. It will actually bend itself or move itself towards where the sun is, which can be a very beautiful thing. I have different color sunflowers, so you will actually get to see that sunflowers are not just yellow. They can be red, they can be maroon, and you'll get to see the different colors of gold that they come out with trimmings of red or green or orange. So you'll actually get to see that because they're actually opening up now. Um, I do. I am growing corn for the first time, so I have 4 big stalks that are actually starting to do. Um, yes, I'm actually growing lettuce, peppers, squash, zucchini in pots. I kind of move around. I have grow bags that you can actually get on Amazon. They're about 5 gallon. I kind of mix soil and clay because most of our soil in Maryland, most of it is clay initially. Um, I usually put my compost, my vegetables under, and then I cover it, and then I grow my plants. This way they can get fertilized and I can do compost at the same time. Um, but as far as a patio for small spaces, you could actually get some grow bags. I did get some for about, I think I got 5 big ones for about $15 on Amazon a couple years ago. But you can go to, you can actually use burlap bags. I mean, I started that, I did that. I got some burlap bags and I actually filled it because of the I could shield my plants from caterpillars and bugs. But I was able to do that, and I grew my first zucchini plant, um, and it was quite bountiful too because the it didn't have to face the different things that most pests that I have now in my garden. Um, but I will also talk about different things that you can use. Like I use a small bottle of water with 2 drops of dishwashing liquid, and that keeps flies and caterpillars off of my flowers. It doesn't hurt the flowers. I usually put it on the under the leaves to keep caterpillars um, or slugs from eating my collard greens. The only and it also gives me it's a nice film. So when I wash my greens, I'm actually cleaning off everything. But we will do some more peppers because I'm actually growing some more in a grow bag. We have a variety of yellow, orange, red, and green peppers. Um, this year, I'm actually growing different types of lettuce. that I um, wasn't successful in doing last year. Um, However, I'm also growing five different types of peppers, from the hottest, which is Anaheim, to the one that does not so hot, which is Serrano, and they're growing rather quickly. I'm doing two different versions, two different things of dill, because I love dill. I eat. You can contact me at 410 which is my work number. But if you want to talk to me directly, my telephone number is 443-355-1892. Does anyone have any questions? Has anyone ever tried gardening or growing something before? If you have, were there any successes? What did you learn about yourself? Does anyone grow plants? Does anyone do clippings? Does anybody transpose? Do anybody do any of that? Does anybody do any compost? Oh, so collard greens grow rather quickly. You can grow collard greens all year round. I usually put my greens out. I start my seeding. So for me, I don't put seeds in the ground directly. I usually soak my seeds, all of my seeds, at least 72 hours. And then I put them into a grow bag. For greens, it can take, wow. Well, with this weather, it's been quite fast. I would say a good 14 days, you should have a sprout, a nice bountiful sprout. I don't put it in the ground. I usually start with the grow bag. With the grow bag, it gives it the needed sun that it needs, but it also protects the roots. So I would say about 3 weeks, give or take, depending on how the weather. With this weather this year, with the intense hot and the nice moisture, they've been growing like water. Now with the chard usually was slow, but I've had 3 harvests of my collard greens and my chard so far. And I plan to get some more today. I am growing broccoli, which was very different for me. I am also growing spinach this year. I kind of moved it around, where I had it in my one raised bed. It didn't like a lot of intense sun. So I moved it over where the watermelons and the cantaloupe and the pumpkins are, and it's thriving. Any more questions? Okay. Well, what we can do is greens are easy to grow. Uh, String beans are easy to grow. I have 3 different varieties. Cucumbers are easy to grow. There are different types. There are 3 different types of cucumbers. I think last year I grew pickling and smooth skinned. But definitely, I would definitely love to come down to the towers and maybe do a workshop or gardening and help the seniors grow their favorite food. Because I do have turnip greens, which are a lot more delicate. Chase Holmes. Okay. All right. So we will connect. Just give me a call and I will come down and do some gardening. Another thing, so we do have a farm, real farms at my job, where they do give out food and you can actually come out and volunteer. That's how I learned how to do compost. They use different stuff. I kind of, I'm frugal. I'm a frugal gardener. So I use things um, I learned from my stepmother. She could grow anything. I don't care what it is. I mean, she can grow any plant there is out here, or any kind of anything. And I used to watch her, um, you know, grow corn in West Baltimore. Um, she had corn, she had tomatoes, she had green peppers, she had all kinds of different things, and it was amazing because she used a small space, because our yards weren't that big, but they small space, and she got people excited. So she started, and then someone else started, and someone else started, and then someone else started, and everybody had their own specific types of vegetables that they were good at. And it was kind of interesting to see that, people would share. All right. So I will, if could you provide me with your number, Miss Murphy, and I will connect with you, and we can set up something. Um, Now, are there any males or men here that are gardeners or have tried to be in do gardening? Okay. Well, it's not hard. You do not have to go out and buy this high price soil. You can actually get some peat moss, because some vegetables like loose soil. Um, or you can go get some topsoil, and they're like $2 a bag, and you can mix it with peat moss. And um, I usually turn mine with, I use baking soda for everything. I'm just one of those people. And I use a lot of worm casting. So you can get a bag of worm casting for about $5. And so for worm casting is actually the um, remains of, well, the feces of a worm. And what happens, it breaks it down. It breaks it down. So I have earthworms about, I don't know, maybe a good 3 or 4 inches. They're nice, thick ones. And they do the work. Okay. And they do the work for me. So my compost, I don't do a huge volume, because my soil, I turn over my soil and I'm constantly growing. So if you would like to have all year round garden, you can actually grow tomatoes and things through the summer. And then when they stop, they go dormant. I would advise you to pick them, because if you don't pick them, the birds will eat them, or the caterpillars will eat them, or the slugs will eat them. If you grow tomatoes, you want to have a moist soil, but you want to have where it's, you need to keep everything off the ground, because if you don't, you can get diseases. When you start growing plant, we will go over how to separate them, because you don't want to have a whole lot of energy on 12 different tomato plants when you have 3 strong ones. You can actually separate those other ones, but concentrate on putting those 3 strong ones in a different pot, and you're going to be successful. I think sometimes people want to maximize their garden by growing all of these different plants and not really um, having the time to weed them, to prune them back. It's great to have a garden. I'm fortunate I have the space to do it, and I have the time to do it. But if you don't, I would start small. I always say start small, and you can always get bigger, because then that way would have a sense of accomplishment. You would be able to utilize your time much more effectively, and basically you would you would know what you're good at, and you could go after foods like red basil, which is very expensive in the store. Thyme, which is very expensive dried, but also fresh. So is there any other questions? Okay, Miss Murphy, I will be giving you a call today. Um, is there anyone doing any kind of flower gardens in your front yard? Um, um, do you use companion flowers in your garden when you're growing? Um, what I usually do if I'm growing tomatoes, I grow it with my sunflowers because they don't compete against each other. They actually thrive off each other. Um, my lettuce, when I'm growing lettuce, I use those as the trimmer of the outside because it keeps the ground moist. With my basil, uh, oregano, green peppers, I keep them together and I grow like chard, or I'll grow sweet potatoes. So by having the border of lettuce around the entire outer part of the garden, it, it allows me to keep my ground moist enough because lettuce must be in loose, moist soil, which it actually it's almost like a fertilizer for my other plants. With okra, I was able to grow okra successfully. It just the only difference is that it can actually take over your garden, like corn, like kale, like greens. They can actually take over your garden. So you need to really strategically think about what it is you want to do, what kind of foods you want to do, um, and how often will you be willing to harvest? Because if you're going to do a patio garden, you're going to have to harvest quite a lot. Cucumbers, you need to know that they will latch onto anything. They will latch onto your ground, onto your fence, and they will grow. They're a vine plant, so um, and you would need to it depending on which variety of cucumbers you're growing. If you're doing pickling, um, those are not really the ones that you're going to eat per se. Those are the ones that are actually for pickling. Um, they do have a really different taste than the smooth skins. Um, and they have a prickling kind of texture. So when you're picking them, I would advise you to wear garden gloves. Um, we do have I do have yellow string beans this year. They're called yellow wax string beans. I've actually bought them, but I've never grown them. So this year I was actually comparing prices. I actually went to Sprouts, which is like where you can get all kinds of vegetables. And I was looking at the prices per pound. Um, I'm going to make out pretty well this year because I'm going to grow them. And my goal is to see how much I can actually grow because I do have some senior clients that I actually give eggplant, squash, zucchini, string beans, and greens too. Um, so, is anyone interested in doing a neighbor to neighbor garden? No, it's not late to start your garden. Matter of fact, it's opportune time because this is when the sun is out. You're in the prime of you're in the are we technically in summer? Well, you're in the midst because you have all the way up to October, really, to grow your garden. Um, what kind of food were you thinking about growing? Tomatoes are loving it. The more sun, the more moisture, tomatoes are going to pop. I don't care if it's vine tomatoes. I don't care if it's beefsteak. You can do plum tomatoes. You have so many different varieties of tomatoes. Um, this year, I'm going to make my own spaghetti sauce. Um, but I like to do whole tomatoes, and um, I love putting them on my pizza. So I mean, I'm learning. So we're going to learn how to do all kinds of stuff. You can make your own French bread. Um, all you need is flour. So we're going to learn how to do different things. that we initially started in the beginning. So gardening has to celebrate Juneteenth, we were actually growing our own food before. Um, I just think that we should go back to it. It's much more healthier. It's actually going to make our environment much more better. Collard greens is perfect. They grow, they grow, and they grow, and they grow, and you can harvest. And we will talk about that. We will actually talk about harvesting. We always start from the bottom, and we let it go up. Um, has anyone ever wanted to grow asparagus? Um, I was not successful last year. So this year I'm starting to grow that inside, so I know exactly what I'm doing. I can actually see what it looks like. Um, when I started last year, it looked like dill, so I cut it. I thought it was dill, and it was actually my asparagus. So I actually killed it without really knowing what it was. This year I actually get to see the sprouts. Um, has anyone ever grown onions or garlic? Oh, okay. So you can teach me how to grow asparagus. You said they're, um, mm, are they easy to grow? Uh, if you know what they look like, sure. If they're sitting in the grow bag next to your dill, no, because you can actually they look very similar. But right now it is. I mean, because I'm keeping it in a confined place. Um, and I actually get to see what it looks like. I didn't know that asparagus, how it changed its look. So I would, once I do my first harvest, I would gladly share so that you can actually, because you have to get them when they're tender. Any more questions? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some videos, and I will be putting them and directing. So I will actually be able to direct you next week where they are. We'll do like initial, you know, choosing the soil. This year I actually bought soil from Aldi's. I didn't realize they had soil, and it was a mixture of peat moss, topsoil, and garden. It had some gardening soil, but it was loose, and the lettuce loved it. One of the things I also would say is um, always, because I'm not that far from Herring Run, we have a chance of deer. You can actually have deer come and eat your food. So if you're in the inner city and you would like to do a garden, you can actually use companion flowers such as marigolds. Some like bees love it, but um, rodents don't like the smell of um, marigolds, so they will stay away from your plant. There's different ways, like if you're in the inner city and you would like to grow and you want to like to use your ground, you can actually get coyote granulate urine. It's actually the coyote's urine and granulates, and you can actually put it in a bag or put it in a sock and put it around your garden, and they won't come near it because they'll smell him. They'll smell his scent, thinking that you have a coyote in your yard. Or you could use hot pepper, so you can get some dollar store hot pepper flakes, dollar store hot pepper, and you can put some baking soda and mix that up into like a little paste and put it around, and it smells. It'll keep your dogs, your cats out of the garden, and it'll keep rodents out of it. So we'll go over some really great tips that you can actually use from out your spice cabinet that you can use to deter deer, rodents, rats, snakes out of your garden. Is there anything else? So, chat, what kind of food were you trying to grow? So next week, what we can do is, if you're going to come back, we can start thinking about the different seeds, because and you can actually get seeds from the dollar store. You can, because they don't sell them. I mean, they do depending on the area. But I actually was able to get okra seeds for 59 cents at the dollar store, rather than paying $1.59 at Home Depot. Um, you can actually get birds. You can actually get seeds at roses. So we're gonna do a frugal garden where you can actually get seeds. I go through a grower who gives me seed. Well, I go through Amazon, and I actually have a grower called Grow Seeds. They do a lot of different things, and it's owned. Well, one of the gardeners that I look up to uses those, and the seeds are wonderful. They are actually, so you can actually. I always kind of look at the seeds, and we'll go over that as well, looking at the seeds, the quality of seeds. When you first start growing, it really doesn't make a difference about the seeds. It doesn't matter now. It's just a matter of knowing what it is that you want to grow. I always plan my garden. I know what I want to have. And then I also kind of have a surprise plant that I want to grow, like corn. Um, it's not taking over my garden right now, because its companion is collard greens. So I'm trying to see how that mixture is. I'm also growing kale with chard, and beets. Um, I'm growing watermelon with cantaloupe and pumpkin. And I think I'm doing more beets because I like beets. Beets in the wintertime. They're great for salad, and they're great for, um, this is a great vegetable to use. Um, but I also have onions um, in the same uh, raised bed with the pumpkins and the um, watermelons this year. I do have rosemary separate this year, because I grew hot peppers, really hot Anaheim peppers, and it kind of meshed with my rosemary. So I had hot rosemary, which was good for me because I love hot food, but it was not so appetizing if you didn't want hot food. Is there any other questions? Okay, so this is my first broadcast. I hope I did really well. I know that there are certain things that I will start looking at. But if you have any suggestions or would like to know different things you would like to hear about, you can definitely email me at Quandra, Quandra dot gaines, GAINES at gmail.com. You can reach me at 443 355 1892. And I will reach out to um, you, Miss Murphy, but I will always follow through. So definitely, it has been a pleasure. Um, I get excited about gardening because I love saving money, and I am so grateful to my stepmom and my dad for incorporating that type of lifestyle into just truly, really loving the dirt. I mean, loving the soil, loving the ground, um, and and we can have fun. It's going to be fun because the whole point is, my goal is to share that kind of passion and love so that others will grow. There's nothing more fruitful than having home that has plants, because plants give us oxygen. It renews our oxygen. Um, so it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So I will see you next week. Um, it has been my pleasure, and thank you. Bye.